I'm Abby. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm Deborah.
Good. Thank you for speaking to me. I'm the homeless shelter social worker. So, tell me about yourself. What got you here?
Well, I'm currently 19, and I've been on and off the streets for about 3 years now. I've been at the homeless shelter now for about 2 months straight, and yeah.
So, what events led up to you making the decision to be here for 2 months?
Well, I recently just gave birth to a baby, but I actually made the decision to put her up for adoption. So I'm currently in the situation where I have nowhere to go, so I'm here.
That must have been a very difficult decision. I can't imagine your decision process that you went through.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult. I really wasn't ready for a baby, especially this young, not having any money, not having anywhere to stay. And I'm just not responsible enough to raise a baby, and I would also never leave that baby with her dad.
So, tell me about her dad. What his name is, what your relationship was like.
Well, the baby's dad, his name is Charles, and he initially got me off the streets for a little while. I began to live with him, and we started to date. He had a lot of money. He didn't have a lot of money, but he had enough money for a place to stay, a place to support me, and initially we were very happy together, and we did do drugs a lot, mostly every day, and we drank. He supplied me with alcohol, and after I got pregnant, though, I stopped doing drugs and drinking, and that's kind of when our relationship started to go downhill.
I can imagine just how difficult it can be to have a steady relationship go downhill. If you're comfortable, would you be able to explain what you mean by downhill?
He was always drunk, or most of the time he was on drugs, a lot of different drugs. And at the time when I was pregnant, I was sober, and then he became very angry with me because I wouldn't do drugs with him. And it seemed like he started to hate me and our baby because I was putting the baby before his wants.
How did he choose to express that anger and hatred towards you?
At first he just became frustrated with me, and he would start yelling at me, and then he started to call me names and be super mean to me. And then eventually he gradually he would start to hit me, he would push me, and he even broke a couple of my things and the things that we bought for the baby.
This behavior must have been really difficult to endure. How long did this go on?
Probably about 7 or 8 months.
Did this behavior adjust after the birth? Was it the same?
Well, actually, I moved out of his house about a week before our baby was born, and Charles never actually met the baby. He wasn't present during the birth. I never told him, and I gave up the baby the day that I gave birth in the hospital.
It must have been really difficult not to choose to cope with alcohol or drugs. How did you get past those hard times?
Well, while we're together, when he was gone during the days, I would just break down, and I had to eventually relearn how to become numb to the abuse, since for a while we were so happy and I wasn't in any kind of abusive relationship, so I had to just relearn to be numb and keep my mind blank.
What do you mean by relearning how to be numb? Have you been in this type of situation before?
Well, most of my adolescence, I had become numb to abuse, especially from my stepfather. And this started when I was about 11, when he molested me.
Tell me more about this traumatic situation and how it affected you.
Well, at 11, when he molested me, I told my mom right away. And my mother decided to break up with him and kick him out. But they weren't broken up very long, and they ended up getting back together, and that's when the abuse like escalated and really started to like get worse, and I had to become numb to everything they said to me.
Did this situation affect your relationship with your mother at all? I assume you guys depended on each other in the time that they were broken up.
We did. She felt very guilty after it happened. But after they got back together, I kind of just like lost all trust in her. Like everything she had said to support me after they broke up, like it just all kind of just went down the drain, because like it seemed like they were both like blaming me for them breaking up.
So have you talked to your mother any more about this any more after you made the decision to leave?
I hadn't talked to her in a few years after I moved out, but after I moved out of Charles' place, I ended up calling her when I was in the hospital, like in labor. I called her and told her like the situation I was in, and she ended up coming to the hospital, and she was there for the birth of my baby.
How was that situation? Were you comfortable with it? Was it awkward? How did you feel?
Well, I was kind of scared for her to come. I especially like was nervous that she would bring my stepdad, but she didn't. I did feel awkward, but like since I was in labor, it kind of wasn't like the first thing that was on my mind. I just like was happy that someone was there for me. And I haven't talked to her a whole lot since, but like in the hospital, like after I gave birth and I was telling her about like my decisions, like my options for like adoption, or like what all of my options were. To be honest, I didn't really have many. She talked about my options and supported me in my decision to put my baby up for adoption.
That sounds really good. Can you elaborate more on like what your childhood was like with her?
Well, like before her and my stepdad, they got married when I was kind of younger, before the whole like situation with him happened. He wasn't always the nicest to me, and like he wasn't entirely that nice to my mom either, but she stayed with him for some reason. But we were really close like when I was younger, and then after like he molested me, it just kind of all went downhill. Like she just didn't seem like I didn't feel like I could trust her, and I don't know. I wish she would be more present in my life, but sometimes those things just don't always work out.
Well, I understand how difficult it must have been to like lose that biggest relationship in your life, the person who's supposed to be there for you. I feel like this relationship is worth reconciling, and obviously it's up to you. But if you would like, you could bring her into a session and we can open up communication.
Yeah, I think that would be a good option. Maybe I could give her a call or something.
Well, thank you for telling me your empowering story, and I feel like it's very important that you stay in the shelter and get the support that you need, because you're getting the help that you need, and you're supporting and you're depending on yourself rather than other people, and you've been doing that your whole life. And so I feel like it's important that you're taking responsibility of your life, and so that you can hopefully be happy in the future. So thank you, and I look forward to meeting you in the next meeting.
Thank you. It was very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.